I'm here, folks, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today in this video, I'm going to teach you 7 idiomatic expressions that you can use to express the idea that someone is living a difficult life or a life of difficulty because of the financial problems that they have or due to the fact that they're short of money or they lack money. So let's start with the first one, which is to scrape out a living. To scrape out a living. When you scrape out a living, you don't have enough money and you're short of money, which means you face financial problems in your life and you live in a way that you only have enough money to pass each and every single day, and you don't have enough money to save, or you have a lot of financial problems. When there's something that you want to buy, you can't buy it with ease because you always have to worry about the prices, you always have to worry about the money that will be left in your account, and so on and so forth. So you scrape out a living. You scrape out a living, which means you live a difficult life because of the financial problems that you have. Alright, let me provide you with an example. In this day and age, because of the financial problems all over the world, most young people are scraping out a living. In this day and age, because of the financial problems all over the world, most young people are scraping out a living. Alright, let's move on to the second idiom that you can use, which is to live from hand to mouth. To live from hand to mouth, which has a similar meaning to the previous idiom, which was to scrape out a living. When someone lives from hand to mouth, they don't have any money and they have a lot of financial problems and they cannot buy whatever they want. They always have to make plans for anything that they want to buy because they always need to make sure that they can afford things, or they have enough money saved in their bank accounts, or they can afford the things that they want to buy. So they live from hand to mouth as a result of the lack of money or as a result of being short of money. Let me give you an example. Because of the inflation, most people are living from hand to mouth. Because of the inflation, most people are living from hand to mouth. Do you know anyone around you who lives from hand to mouth? I've seen a lot of people all over the world, especially after COVID, living from hand to mouth. Anyway, it's a difficult situation, but I just hope it doesn't happen to anyone, and I just hope everyone lives a comfortable life, a life of pleasure, and a life of money, and a life of an abundance of money. Anyway, so that was all about the second idiom. Now we're getting to the third idiomatic expression, which is to live below the poverty line. To live below the poverty line. When someone lives below the poverty line, they live a poor life or a life of poverty, a life of financial concerns and a lot of financial issues. The idiom itself clearly explains what it means. When you live below the poverty line, it means you're not making enough money to afford your cost of living or afford the things that you want to buy. Let me give you an example. In this day and age, because of the rising inflation, most people are living below the poverty line. In this day and age, because of the rising inflation, most people are living below the poverty line. Alright, now let's proceed to the fourth idiomatic expression, which is to keep your head above water. To keep your head above water. When someone keeps their head above water, they only have enough money to survive and to continue living, but they don't have enough money, or they don't have the money to afford expensive things or to afford the luxury things like luxury cars, luxury houses, and so on and so forth. So to keep your head above water means to manage to deal with the difficult situations and difficult times that you may face in your life, or to manage to continue your life with the little amount of money that you have in your bank account or the little amount of money that you've been left with. Anyway, let me give you an example. Sometimes you need to learn to keep your head above water in the face of financial problems. Sometimes you need to keep your head above water. You need to learn how to keep your head above water in the face of financial problems. Do you know how to keep your head above water in the face of financial problems? I think this is the most important trick or the most important skill that you need to develop if you want to turn into a billionaire or get rich. As long as you don't know how to keep your head above water and manage to continue your life despite all the financial problems that you have, I think you will never learn how to be a billionaire, or you will never turn into a wealthy individual, because the actual billionaires and wealthy people know how to manage the money that they have. And there have been a lot of times in their lives or periods in their lives within which or during which they had to keep their head above water. Alright, that was about the fourth idiomatic expression. Now let's get to the fifth one, which is to make ends meet. To make ends meet. When someone makes ends meet, they only manage to make enough money to survive, or make enough money to pay for the bare essentials of their life or the bare necessities of their life, but they don't get to save enough money, or they don't get to make enough money to afford luxurious things. So, to make ends meet. Let me give you an example. If you continue living as an employee, you will only make ends meet. If you continue your life as an employee, or if you continue living as an employee, you will only make ends meet. You will never get to save enough money to afford luxurious things. So if you continue living as an employee, you will only make ends meet. Alright, now we're getting to the sixth idiomatic expression that you can use to express the idea that someone is living a difficult life because of financial problems, which is to rob Peter to pay Paul. To rob Peter to pay Paul. When someone robs Peter to pay Paul, what they do is they are already in debt to someone, so they have to borrow money from other people to be able to clear their debts to the person that they're in debt to. Alright, let's say Alex is in debt to Peter, but Alex doesn't have enough money to clear his debts to Peter or pay off his debts. So he borrows money from his other friends or from other people. Let's say Alex is in debt to Peter, but Alex doesn't have enough money to pay off his debts to Peter. So what Alex has to do is borrow money from other people to be able to clear his debts or pay off his debts that he has to Alex. So in this case, Alex is robbing Peter to pay Paul. I know a lot of people in this day and age who rob Peter to pay Paul, which means they don't have enough money themselves to clear their debts or pay off their debts. So they end up borrowing money from others, their friends, the members of their family, or whoever they know that might lend them some money to be able to pay off their debts or clear their debts to people that they're in debt to. Alright, let me give you an example. He will never return your money unless he robs Peter to pay Paul. He will never return your money unless he robs Peter to pay Paul. Another example. He doesn't have any job, which is why he's just robbing Peter to pay Paul. He doesn't have any job, which is why he's robbing Peter to pay Paul. And finally, we're getting to the seventh and the last idiomatic expression that you can use to express the idea that someone is living a difficult life only and only due to the financial problems that they have, which is to live on a shoestring. To live on a shoestring. To live on a shoestring. When someone lives on a shoestring, they don't have enough money to afford their costs or their cost of living, or they barely make money to afford what they want to pay for or to afford their cost of living. An example, most people living in poor countries are living on a shoestring. Most people living in poor countries are living on a shoestring. Alright, that's about all, and that's about all the idioms that you were supposed to learn today. What I want you to do is like this video and subscribe to my channel. And the other thing that I want you to do is make sentences using the idiomatic expressions that were taught to you in this video and comment them down below. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'm going to be back soon.